Hello. So, my little airship presentation took about 2 months to put together. Between my inability to read a script, voice breaks, and tracking glitches, for the 50 minutes shown, I recorded about 8 hours worth of footage. On top of 2 hours of older recordings that I redid in their entirety. While not filled with all that many bloopers, the bulk of the footage looks like this. And now for some... Hello, my name is... This story begins with a man named Count Verden... Born July 8th, 1838, Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin, otherwise known as in German as, not as German, otherwise known as in German, I did it again. A design featuring a metal framework filled with multiple gas cells. I could have said that better. Enunciate. Why do I do this to myself? I don't need to do this. When the guns finally fell silent... I'm not moving my hand. That's doing it by itself. He was not permitted to fly combat missions, despite being a license, and he was not permitted to fly combat missions, despite being a... Bah. Why the fuck? After World War I, most nations abandoned airships. Learn to read. I know how to read, I just don't know how to speak, apparently. It doesn't really have any confirmed passenger total. The sheer novelty of Zeppelin flights boosted tourism and goodwill, drawing international curiosity tours that pumped... The sheer novelty of Zeppelin flights boosted tourism and goodwill, drawing... The sheer novelty of Zeppelin flights boosted tourism and goodwill, drawing international curiosity. The sheer novelty of Zeppelin flights boosted tourism and goodwill. The sheer novelty of Zeppelin flights boosted tourism and goodwill, drawing international curiosity tours that pumped revenue into Weimar. The sheer novelty of Zeppelin flights boosted tourism and goodwill, drawing international curiosity tours that pumped revenue into Weimar. Drawing international curiosity tours that pumped revenue into Weimar's... Drawing international curiosity tours that pumped revenue into Weimar Germany's... Drawing international curiosity tours that pumped revenue into Weimar Germany's struggling economy. By operating within the civilian classification, Germany retained skill. Letting letting passengers disembark via gang. Despite their ability to ascend to great... Fuck me. Rewinding a little bit to 1920... The LZ-127. The Graf Zeppelin. Already I'm like, what? Named after Count... Named after... It's the first sentence. Named after Count Ferdinand Adolf... Blah. Named after Count Ferdinand Adolf Heinrich... She kicked off... Kaplawi. The tone. I can read sentences. She kicked off this flight marked the beginning of Graf Zeppelin's legendary career in both transatlantic travel and bolstered by her triumphs and public enthusiasm. In August 1928, blah, 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 blah. A media mogul who built the largest newspaper and magazine. Shit. Its purpose, blah. Its purpose was scientific exploration of the Arctic, including meteorological, magnetic, and geographical surveys. The expedition helped redraw maps of the Barents Sea and contributed early to early understanding of Arctic meteorology. Redraw maps of the Barents Sea and contributed to early understanding of Arctic meteorology. And contributed to early understanding of the Arctic... Again. And contributed to early understanding of Arctic meteorology. I got it. I'm not quite liking how I did the turn. Measuring 804 feet in length and 135... Measuring 804 feet in length and... Measuring 804 feet in length and 135 feet in height, it was nearly as long and about... Amenities included a promenade deck with panoramic windows, dining room with kitchen, a smoking room ingeniously and a lounge with a baby grand piano, which was made of aluminum. And while most people associate the Hindenburg with its transatlantic runs to New Jersey, she also made several voyages to South America, specifically to Rio de Janeiro. Helium. In 1938, the US Congress amended export restrictions to permit helium sales for non-military airships, hoping to prevent future tragedies. My throat is beginning to blah. A lot of talking. An hour! I've been doing this an hour! This is how long this segment is. In May 1938, he met with President. In May 1938, he met with President Franklin D. In May 1938, he met with President Franklin D. In May 1938, he met with President. In May 1938, he met with President Franklin. In May 1938, he met with President Franklin D. Roosevelt. In May 1938, he met with President Roosevelt. In May 1938, he met with President Roosevelt. Blah, 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 blah. Then, after that, Hugo went to the US and met. After its maiden voyage on the 14th of September. After its maiden flight, September 14th, 1938, it completed just 30 sorties over. In urgent need of aircraft materials, the Zeppelin II was dismantled in April 1940. Its duralumin framework recycled for Luftwaffe production. Modern attempts to revive airships have in a world accustomed to jet travel, airships are slow. A transatlantic. I had to edit 8 hours of this nonsense. Between my inability to read a script, voice breaks. And while not filled with all that many bloopers, the bulk of the footage